Hi there, you're listening to the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I'm your host and midlife warrior, Heike Yates. And on this show, we're talking about fitness, nutrition, and mindset strategies for women in midlife. Plus, our fierce guests on the show share their stories to help you reclaim your power to spark an authentic life. Hey there, Heike Yates here, and welcome to another episode of the Pursue Your Spark podcast. And welcome to 2020. We are in 2020, and I like to start the year out by saying it's the roaring 20s. Let's make happen what's get us stuck last year and what didn't happen, what we wanted to do when it comes to our fitness lifestyle. Let's put a stake in the ground this year and say, we will do it. We will take action to whatever it is we were not accomplishing in 2019, last year, but make it happen this year. We're committed, and it's nothing to do with a New Year's diet or a New Year's challenge or let's clean out what I ate all month of December on November 8 and didn't exercise. No, it's not about this. It's about starting anew, leaving behind the old, bringing in the new with a roaring sound, with a roar. I just feel like roaring today. So we're cleaning out the old year, or we're dealing with the old year by me answering the 3 of your most asked questions in 2019. You asked me a lot of questions and I love it. I love to hear from you. I want to hear all your questions and want to make sure that you get the answers you need and you deserve when it comes to your fitness, your nutrition, and your mindset strategies. So the 3 most asked questions in 2019 were, with hands down, how to get motivated and how to stick to an exercise plan. Number 2 was how to stop overeating and how to stick to a healthy diet. And number 3 was several fold questions. So I read them all to you so you know what the questions were that kept coming back. And number 1 was how to stay fit as I age. Best exercises for women or for older women with back pain. Then another one was exercises for older women that can't run because of a bad back. And what are the best exercises to get rid of back fat? Were, as far as fitness was concerned, the top questions I kept getting over and over from you guys. So let's dive into number 1, how to get motivated and how to stick to an exercise plan. You know, I get it. We're starting something, whether it's an exercise program or a nutrition program or whatever the program may be, and we're super excited about it. And then a week later, we're no longer super excited because it got hard and it just kind of didn't fit our schedule anymore. And sticking to it had all these obstacles with our regular life that life got in the way of the motivation and the things we want to do. But you know, big ideas have small beginnings. When you start out on your journey, the journey of motivation, you have big goals. And it can feel overwhelming looking at these goals and not knowing exactly where to start, or you start and you stop in your tracks because the goal is so big. Like, I always like to use the example of a marathon. I want to run a marathon. It sounds so fantastic and so doable when you say it out loud, but then you break it down into smaller pieces and it sounds like, what? 26.2 miles? Ooh, that's a lot. Well, how long might that take me? Well, many people run a marathon in maybe 4 hours. Well, I have never done a marathon, so I think I shouldn't even start. So let's break break those big goals like the marathon down into a small, what I call them baby steps, doable steps. Keep the big ideas on the horizon. I don't want you to give up on those big ideas because that's what motivates you. When you run across the finish line with that big ass grin on your face saying, dang, I did it. I'm sweaty, I am tired, my feet may hurt, but I did it. So with that focus in mind, you're like, yeah, I can do it. But it's work. It is step-by-step process. And you will achieve if you stick to the goal. So breaking a big goal down into smaller will help you motivate it, because how do you feel after week 1? You finally ran a mile. You feel like a queen. You feel so pumped that you actually managed a mile, all in one piece. And then you go the second week and you say, oh, yes, I did 2 miles, all in one piece. I may have walked a little bit, but I did it. And as you track your progress, you get more motivated. And tracking a progress is definitely something I highly recommend when you have a big goal. Put that big goal on your calendar when it's supposed to happen. And week by week, you add on your tracker or your piece of paper where you track your workouts, or a Google Docs, how far you've run, how far you've come, and add up those mileage. It is super motivating to see that every week you got a little bit further, every week you ran a little bit longer, and the big idea is broken down into small bits and pieces. And yes, not everything will be perfect, but it will be mostly perfect, because if you stay the course, you can do it. I know it. So start tracking. And stop doubting yourself and trust the process. When you think about my marathon example, is you look at the distance, you look at the time or the month it will take you to finish that race, or the training progress, I should say. It may sound a little bit daunting, but I know you can do it. As you're tracking the progress, don't start to throw the towel in and think, I can't do it. You will make mistakes along the way, and you will not be perfect. And there may be weeks when you run a little bit less or don't feel quite as energized as you thought you would, but that's okay. If you stay the course and trust the process of a well-designed running program in this case, or it could be a nutrition program, you will see results. And they change, or they vary from everybody. It's a little bit different, but there will be a positive result in the end. So stop doubting yourself. Put your best foot forward. Do what you can, because that's all you got, and that is good enough. And don't give up. Great things take time. When you think about that you're in the middle of a run and you have a choice, you could either quit or you could keep going. Keep going. Because, as I said, not everything will be perfect. Not every run will be the best run of your life, but they will get you closer to your goal. Be proud of yourself for not stopping and throwing the towel in the wind and saying, no, I give up now. Don't give up. Perseverance is key when it comes to motivation. And just think of yourself, how proud you will be when you imagine yourself finishing that marathon. Finish the marathon. Think about, imagine what that could feel like, would feel like. You see the finish line ahead of you. You hear the announcer already announcing other runners that are finishing by name. People are cheering along the way, and they cheer for you now because you didn't give up. I just get goosebumps when I tell you this, because All the marathons I've ran felt that way. Everything's forgotten. All the sweat, all the I want to give up moments, which you didn't. And then you get to the finish line and the cheers are there. And then it's your turn. You cross the finish line and the announcer yells your name and tells everybody that is there in the world that you finished a marathon, that you persevered, that you kept going, and that you did not give up. Feel it. And finally, make yourself a priority. There is life that gets in the way of what's important to us. Yep, that's just the way it is. And the sooner we recognize that this is the case, the more we can say, no, it's just what happens. And now I am making myself a priority. I'm first. I'm the one who needs to do this for myself. Achieving a healthy balance in your life is crucial. And remembering that we gain energy, confidence, and a fit body by taking care of our health. Not only will you notice the difference in how you feel and how you carry yourself, but those around you will benefit as well. You'll be more upbeat, you'll be more confident, you'll be stronger, and stronger in all your life's choices. So I leave a link in the show notes for you for the 5 healthy habits that can change your life and how Pilates can transform your mind and body to help you stay motivated. And finally, I want to add, trying something new is exciting and it helps you stay motivated. And I just recently listened to a motivational speaker and he said, if you're doing the same old thing over and over, you're telling yourself the same story, the same boring, the same old story over and over. You cannot expect the change. So be the change. Choose you as a priority. Don't give up. Great things take time. Stop doubting yourself and trust the process. And remember, big ideas have small beginnings. On to question number 2. How to stop overeating and stick to a healthy diet. So think about what I answered in question 1 because to a certain extent, it applies the same way. It starts off with making yourself a priority. If you want to eat healthy and put everybody else's need before you because you say, Heike, my family doesn't eat what I cook. Nobody eats what I make. And so you make all these meals and instead of making the meals for somebody else, you start eating them as well because you cook it. And when my children were small and I cooked at home, I had a similar scenario. One didn't want to eat this, the other one didn't want to eat that. So I made several meals, but what happened was I ate while I cooked. So I was basically already full by the time we sat down to dinner. But then I ate because I had cooked some more food and I was supposed to eat all this, I thought. And so one of the things that I highly encourage you to do is, again, to make yourself a priority. Do you need all this food? Is food helping you overcome some emotional issues? Is it that you're just not paying attention or are not mindful in what you're eating? So what is mindful eating? Mindful eating is the practice of eating, being present while eating. That means you evaluate your reasons for hunger. Do you eat because you're sad, need comfort, or because you're hungry and it's dinner time, or simply because it's dinner time? Mindful eating is asking you to pay attention without judgment or whether the food is healthy or unhealthy. It simply encourages you to be aware, and this awareness will help you tune in with your hunger cues. There's the other part of it, it's called intuitive eating. Intuitive eating, on the other hand, is a form of self-discovery, of eating mindfully without guilt. It incorporates mindful eating practices while also emphasizing the relationship between the mind, the emotions, body, fitness and healthy body weight, and food that nourish you and give you pleasure eating. I can't tell you guys how much fun I have eating almost raw vegetables. My husband rolls his eyes. He says, honey, they need to cook a little bit longer. And I'm going, no, if I bite into them, there is a crunch to it. There is a spark to that food. I love it when the food is crunchy in my mouth and I can chew around in it, and I get the pleasure of chewing it and enjoying the flavor of eating. So how do I stop overeating and stick to a healthy diet is by first implying? Yep, by using mindful eating and intuitive eating techniques. It is much simpler than when you're aware of what you're doing, how you're doing it, and what's going into your body. And figuring out what your eating triggers are. So one thing I want you to do is start a little eating journal. Doesn't have to be anything big, but I want you to write down when it comes to meal times, snack times. You may snack unbeknownst to you that it has become such a habit that you just don't remember that you actually had a snack. So start a little journal, little booklet or a little journal book, or even a computer or your phone has a little app on there where you can just type down or write down how you felt when you ate. So as you sit down or stand, some people eat standing because they're in such a rush, I want you to write down what you ate. Nothing in particular. It's not a food log, but an emotional food blog, almost. Blog? Yeah. And I want you to think that, okay, I'm sitting down, I'm eating. What am I eating? I have Brussels sprouts, I have potatoes, I have some chicken fingers. And then I want you to think about, how did you feel when you ate this? Were you truly hungry? Was your stomach growling? Or did you sit down because it was lunchtime and you had to eat something? Or you felt that you were sad, that things at work didn't go so good, that things that your boss yelled at you and you just felt crushed and you said, screw it, I'm just going to eat something. I'm going to feel better afterwards. So what do you feel when you eat? And it may be a little bit tedious at first, but do it. Write down how you feel when you eat, if number 2 is a question that you want answered. And see when you grab, I know it's the so classic eat the donut, but I couldn't, maybe a Snickers bar. That in the afternoon, you always got a Snickers bar from the vending machine at work. You don't even know why. And you know it's loaded with sugar and it surely is tasty, but could you have eaten a banana? Is it that you grabbed the Snickers bar because you felt really upset about something? Or was it something that you just did out of a habit because you have done this forever and you want to break a habit? Then go back to the previous question and check out the blog about the habits, how you can change habits. But think about if you want to stop overeating and sticking to a healthy diet, it's really comes down to mindful eating and intuitive eating. And here are 5 practices how to eat mindfully. Set the table. Even if you're just one person, set the table, put everything out nicely so it's enjoyable and it's fun to eat. Sit down to eat. And you know what? Many people eat while on the run and just shoveling food down without noticing. My mom used to be a good example of that. When I was living back in Germany and I was littler, she would literally eat standing in the kitchen, serve us our food, and then do other stuff instead of sitting down and enjoying the meal. So I want you to make mealtime a habit. Lunch may not be always possible, but definitely go for dinner time. Make sure that every electronics is turned off. No TV, no reading a book, no watching YouTube videos. Pay attention to what's in front of you because you're already writing down how you feel when you eat. And then in between each bite, pause. Put the fork down and then pick it back up, or the spoon, whatever you're eating. And just look at how good your food looks. I get so excited when I think of broccoli. The green color next to my grilled chicken makes me just so happy. I can't tell you. I know I'm a little crazy, but maybe you can feel the same way, that you look at your vegetable and you go, man, those carrots, darn, are they delicious. I just want to eat those, and then eat slowly. Number 5 is eat slowly. Be aware of the texture. Is it crunchy? Is the carrot sweet? Does it smell awesome? So dive deep into your mindful and intuitive eating practice when it comes to how do I stop overeating and stick to a healthy diet. And discover the power of a mindfulness day today by checking out the link that I will leave for you in the show notes. It's called Discover the Power of Mindfulness Today. Number 3, how to stay fit as I age. Best exercises for older women with back pain. Exercises for older women that can't run because of back pain. And what are the best exercises to get rid of back fat? I will dive into each one of those questions individually, but before I do, I want to say every person is individual. What one person has is not the same as the next person has. So know about your condition. If you have back pain, get clearance from your doctor. Make sure that he or she knows what you're going into and that it's okay for you. And for instance, with the running, I have arthritis in one of my knees. I still run, but I also walk. I have changed my strength training regimen. I have changed some things of how I exercise, including that I'm a triathlete. I can swim when my knee's not feeling good. But I know exactly what I can and I can't do. And it's very different than from some of my other friends who also have arthritis in their knee. So know about your back pain or any other health conditions. Check with your physician and do some research. Go to Mr. Google and say, hey, what exercises shouldn't I do? And keep that in mind when you do your planning for the exercises to help you stay fit as you age. But here are my 3 tips for you to gain confidence in the workouts as you age. Because number 1, you have to love what you do. Don't sign up for something that you don't like. You think it's silly, you would never do it, but that's currently the only option. Don't go there. If you don't love it, no matter how old or young you are, you will not get fit because you just don't love it. If you're spending time outside gardening is great exercise. And in the summer, this is a huge addition to my strength training program. I have to say, as I'm digging stuff and ripping things out and cutting things down, my arms are really sore afterwards. But think about the things you love doing and the things you may want to get better at that you love doing. Nobody says that you have to run. If you choose to walk and it makes you happy, do it. Pick something that you love doing. If you don't know, do some research. There's a lot of stuff out there that can light you up. And then number 2 is investing in yourself. You want to try something new, but you've never done it before. Like, I always encourage people to lift weights. They could be Pilates or weights or bands, but those stretchy bands and those machines or those weights can be pretty intimidating. So hire a qualified trainer and coach to show you the basics and how to get started so you won't feel intimidated and you will feel confident in starting something new. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming if you take, as I mentioned earlier, your baby steps. It will also motivate you because once you know how to do something, it's just so much easier to build on it, to get even better and add more exercises. But think about, you want to do the exercises correctly so you don't injure yourself if that is a concern of yours. And since I've mentioned back pain, it can be a concern because I have seen so many people in my over 30 years in the fitness industry that have seen exercises in a magazine and thought they knew what they were doing. And I was watching them scratching my head and I said, ooh, where did that one come from? I've never seen that one before. And I know, don't smirk. You've seen those videos cruising around on Facebook of people doing really interesting things with exercise equipment. So invest in yourself. You are worth it, as I said earlier. And number 3 would find a buddy. It's so much more fun to go with somebody else if you're shy. You want to try out the class at the local gym and you're thinking, if I walk in the door, everybody's going to turn around and say, whoa, look at that newbie. She's a new one. Let's see. And you'd rather not go in there because you would just die on the spot of fear and embarrassment because people just looked at you. So think about that if you bring somebody, you have a support team, and once you go past that door or inside the room, you have a buddy that's helping you, and it will be fun spending time with that person. And you can talk about whether you like the music or the steps or what you thought about. You can cahoots about the whole class and the whole session. And maybe stick with it and the two go together. Or you got more confidence and said, oh, I can do it by myself. And good examples of the confidence in exercise is my interview with Jillian Hessel, number 61, How Pilates Works for Any Age and Fitness Level. And number 45, How to Transform Your Life at Any Stage with Mimi Sekur. Very motivating of what these two ladies have done as you keep going. And then, of course, we have How to Start and Rock Running in Midlife with Julie and Lisa in our podcast. So listen to those if you're thinking about running, if you're not sure, if you need some motivation for exercising later in life. So how do I stay fit as I age? Pick the exercise that is right for you, right for your body. And I always recommend Pilates to start with. I love Pilates, you know that. I love all kinds of exercise, but Pilates is definitely, if you have back pain, Pilates is for you. The 5 facts how Pilates rocks your body is one of my posts, and I put a link in the show notes so you can read it after you listen to the podcast. But Pilates helps with back pain, and it's incredible. You can do it at any age and at any fitness level, as Jillian was teaching us as well in the podcast. I have taught Pilates for 20 years, and I've been a trainer for 30, and all of my clients, near and far, have incorporated Pilates into their program while working with me, not only because it is resistance training, but it's flexibility, Pilates strengthens your back and your core. Pilates improves your breathing. And it's an amazing overall fitness tool that anyone can do. And it has proven results to stay lean, fit, and in shape, no matter how old you are. Currently, my oldest clients that I see in person, because can't see these two people. And they're two. It's a husband and wife. He's 94 and she is 91 soon. They come to me for Pilates, with training with me, both together, and they're staying fit, and everybody at the studio is at awe when they walk in the door. On to what are the best exercises to get rid of back fat? Well, my friend, that is a multi-level question. We don't spot train. If you try to get rid of back fat by doing lots of chest presses and upper body exercises, you'll be out of luck, because that not in itself is not helping. It's diet and exercise. So if your diet is crap, your back fat won't go away. And as you're adapting your exercises to an overall strengthening program, like I said, with Pilates or with weights or with bands, you also need to modify your diet, because you need to reduce body fat all over the body. In some spots, it may be a little thicker than others, but one doesn't go without the other. Sound nutrition and healthy exercise and the right exercise program help you reduce that body fat. It may never go away, because that's based on your body type, but it will definitely get a lot better. So think about a combination out of those two. And which brings me back to the question that we had earlier about nutrition. Maybe you want to start writing down what you eat every day. So these are the 3 most asked questions in 2019 that I've got, was how to get motivated and how to stick to an exercise plan. And number 2 was how to stop to overeat and stick to a healthy diet. And number 3 was the overall question of how to stay fit as I age. And I hope that by answering these questions and all the links that I have in the show notes for you, you take action and we move forward from the old you to the new you that is committed, focused, motivated, and takes baby steps when it comes to your health and fitness, not only in 2020, but starting in 2020, even better than before. So what do you think? Are you ready to dive with me into the roaring 20s, 2020 and beyond? I can't wait to see what you're going to do and the milestones you're going to achieve and how you will live a healthier, happier, and fit lifestyle going forward. And 2020, I want you to put the stake in the ground and claim your health and fitness goals. And I want to know about those goals. So reach out to me at Heike Yates on Instagram or the Pursue Your Spark podcast. I love to hear what you're going to start with from my 3 questions that I answered today for you and where you're putting your stake into the ground. So that's it, my friend, for today. And next week's episode is amazing. My guest, Phyllis Mantelli, will talk about her latest book, Unmothered, Life with a Mom That Couldn't Love Me, and how she now helps develop stronger mother and daughter relationships. Don't miss that episode. And as always, please hop on over to the Apple Podcast and leave a review for the show. We love it. We'll give you a shout out on the show, and you will help us share the show to more listeners and help us grow the show. So with that, I'll see you next time on the Pursue Your Spark podcast. Ciao!